They told me I couldn't teach, that if I couldn't memorize grammar rules or spell correctly, I wasn't qualified. But what they didn't know is that my brain doesn't follow the rules. It builds its own. I grew up at a time when dyslexia wasn't even a word people used, especially in Greece where I come from. No one talked about working memory, orthographic dyslexia, or retrieval difficulty. But my father noticed something early. You see, he asked me to read a passage and tell him what it said, and I read it. I could understand the words, but the words kept flying. I kept reading and I couldn't remember a thing. And when he asked me to explain it, I couldn't remember anything. So he read it to me, and suddenly I could remember. That moment stuck with me for life. Even now, I don't fully process things unless I hear them or see them. That's why I'm recording this video as a talking avatar. Because first, I had to write these thoughts to organize them. Then, I had to read them out loud. Otherwise, I wouldn't remember everything I want to say. That's how my dyslexic brain works, and I have learned to work with it and not against it. I've always struggled with spelling. I often see the word in my mind, but by the time I try to write it, it disappears. Sometimes I write the word, and it's misspelled, but I still see it as correct. That's called surface dyslexia, difficulty with remembering correct spelling patterns even when the word is familiar. What about memorizing? Okay. Memory is kind of my worst feature. Memorizing grammar rules? I could read them 10 times and still not retain them, because I don't learn through silent reading. I need context, sound, images, patterns, movement. I worked so hard, studied longer than everyone else, and I still forgot things in exams. And the worst part, I think you can relate, having to constantly convince people that I was smart, that I knew things. I just couldn't prove them in the right way. But I became a teacher anyway, an English teacher. So why did I become a teacher? Because I never forgot what it felt like to struggle. I wanted to be the adult who got it, the one who didn't say, "You're not paying attention again," but instead asked, "What's another way we can learn this? How can I help?" Dyslexia didn't stop me, it made me more resourceful. I began recording myself, lessons, summaries, even grammar tips, just to hear them again. Audio and video became my lifeline. Why? Because dyslexic brains often have stronger auditory and visual spatial processing than they do phonological decoding or orthographic memory. When I listen to something, especially if I see it at the same time, it's like my brain locks it in. This is called multisensory learning, and it's a scientifically supported approach for dyslexic learners. If I read something silently, I often forget it. But if I hear it or watch it being explained, it sticks. That's how my brain is wired. And now I use that to help my students too. I don't use traditional flashcards, books, or highlighters the way others do. These are the tools that actually help me. They're very simple and anyone can use them. Voice recordings. I record notes like I'm doing now, summaries, even grammar rules, and then listen on repeat. Google Docs voice typing. When I can't spell something, I just speak it. Text-to-speech readers like Natural Reader and Speechify to read articles to me. Color coding and visual layouts in order to categorize grammar or vocabulary. mind maps and diagrams. I don't think linearly, so I learn visually. This didn't just help me pass, they helped me feel capable. So how do I teach with dyslexia? What is my everyday reality? Do I still mess up spelling on the board? Yes. Do I still forget words mid-sentence? Oh, absolutely. But I turn those moments into teachable ones. I say, see, mistakes are allowed here, and I remind my students there is more than one way to learn. I build visuals into every lesson. I use rhythm, gestures, drawing. I teach grammar like it's a game, not a punishment. And I create a classroom where every brain is welcome. Did dyslexia ruin my childhood or my teenage years or even being a student or a university student? Absolutely not. Dyslexia gave me deep empathy. I spot the overwhelmed child right away. I know what shame looks like, even behind a smile. And I know that learning isn't about speed. It's about connection and understanding. I celebrate every tiny win. I break big things into little steps. I remind my students that their brain isn't broken. It's brilliantly different. And every time I say it to them, I say it to myself too. If you ever felt invisible, if you've studied for hours and still forgotten, if you've had to work twice as hard just to feel half as confident, please hear this. You're not failing. You're not less intelligent. Your brain takes a different path, one that notices more, that feels more. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out, to create new and very important paths. Lead the way. I created a free dyslexic teacher toolkit for you. It includes my study system, the routine planner, tools I rely on, and a few printable affirmations. Check the link in the description and subscribe if you'd like more videos about teaching, learning differently, and turning your struggles into strength. You're not alone. You're more capable than you think, and you're exactly the kind of teacher the world needs.